Avatar of Zir, the real endgame of Diablo 4, and I'm not gonna lie, I think this is a huge mistake. This is a huge step in the wrong direction that the game should take.
Rich is amazing, and he is actually going to be showcasing a little bit of Avatar Zir for us.
Oh,
okay.
Right off
You
the
can
dog
pet
pet.
the dog in Diablo 4.
When
Yeah,
we practiced this, the dog wasn't there.
In case it wasn't clear, that is still a feature that exists in the game.
Yeah.
Say hi, Rich.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. There's a spin of friendship. Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna see live gameplay of someone who actually plays Diablo 4, not as just the developer that ruins the game. And this is gonna be scary.
So we are, yeah, it's funny. It's like last stream of the year and we're doing it live. This is fun.
Now, and when we say live, we're talking about this is a live, like he's playing for real right now.
Yes.
That is what I was referencing, but I wasn't clear. That's true.
But it is on a dev server.
Yep.
So we won't run into other players, and it is on a dev build, so there might be some debug text or
Unless
other
the dev
stuff.
just happens to run it through, who's also on this
Could
server, but
happen,
yes.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, you might see some weird stuff, folks. And if people,
I'm
honestly,
fearful we just sent out this megaphone to the team and also running over
All
the
right,
ridge.
well, anyway, this
if-
is the first time we've done something like that.
that's absolutely right. And if you complain about it, we just won't do it again. And wouldn't you rather just see really cool stuff? I bet you would. So let's see.
All right.
Come on,
so
do it.
Rich, what build are you going to be running here for us?
Ball lightning, obviously.
On my side, I'm actually going to be running a popular build, the ball lightning build. I'm going to wait for Joe to kind of explain some of the earlier stuff, basically a lot of the gameplay loop stuff. But pretty familiar for those who've been watching a lot of the end game material for ball lightning. Specifically for this, I really focused around like survivability, mobility, with a sprinkle of DPS. But
By the way, I don't play ball lightning source, but I can already tell you that he has a lot of bad gear already. He's missing a lot of stuff.
I think before we get into
With
it,
a sprinkle.
But did he have Shaco in his inventory? Yup.
with a sprinkle of DPS, but I think before we get into
With
it,
a sprinkle.
sprinkle of
Yeah,
DPS.
ball lightning
you're
known
talking about
for
ball
its
lightning.
low damage output capacity. Absolutely. So Rich here. So let's say we're talking about the Avatar of Zir. I know we talked about this before, but for the uninitiated, it's going to be a new end-game dungeon content experience for players to engage with that really unlocks after you finish the season journey of
Okay.
Season 2. So if you really want to go and start going
So you crafted here, okay.
through this content, you'll need to have done all the things in the season beforehand to be able to gain access to the very first Blood Forge sigil.
Only almost 10 billion gold. What a resource.
Be able to craft here at the Occultist. Now, once you've taken this sigil, this is going to open up.
Wait, the sigils go into the point. Oh no, that's normal. That's
Be able to
normal.
craft here at the Occultist. Now,
That's
once you've taken
normal.
this sigil, this is going to open up a new dungeon space that's going to be more challenging than a tier 100 Nightmare dungeon.
Okay.
Now, there are 25 tiers of the Avatar of Zir for players to engage with. And each of these does get progressively much more challenging as you step up. Much more challenging than, say, going from like a tier 75 Nightmare dungeon to a tier 76 Nightmare dungeon. Going from a tier 1
Okay, so the portal is always here.
to a tier 2 to a tier 3. These are really significant steps by comparison. So, and we want this because we're giving, Season 2's been a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun playing even my Firewall Sork right now. We want to make sure that there's a really good place for players to
Yeah, Firewall Sork is not gonna get you far in the end game.
be able to bring all this power they've been collecting from whether they're farming Duriel for Uber Uniques or just they get a really, really great combination of vampiric powers. When I have a place where they can go to really show off and really push hard into a type of content. That's the focus here.
Yeah, and we mentioned you mentioned just now that the avatar requires that you've completed the season journey,
Yes.
right? And so the season journey, the last step of the season journey
That's, by the way, super lame.
requires
Who cares about the stupid season journey?
you can skip two of the objectives, but there's still difficult objectives like kill Duriel, even if you skip Echo of Lilith and the tier 90 Nightmare Dungeon requirement. And that's not arbitrary. That's because characters who aren't able to do that really are not ready for Avatar of Zir. So
Yep.
I know there are a lot of folks who are level 100 out there who maybe haven't completed this yet, we've got this weekend.
You know, this weekend or when Abattoir Zero actually hits, they can still complete it anytime when the seasonal time. So
Come on, let's
I know
see the
Rich here
actual
has
run.
actually, as we were talking, spawned a level 1 Abattoir using the sigils himself right there. So I think this is a good opportunity for him to kind of jump in.
Yeah, so Rich has done a little of this content on his character here already. So you know he's got a little bit of a preview of how it's going to play, how it's going to feel to play through. But I think it's going to be pretty fun. Let's see how
He's playing also a super old version of Lightning Bolt Source because he's using the sparks,
he performs.
discharges or whatever they're called.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I did want to address on that I saw from chat is that character that I have is as close as I can be to being maxed out. You know, because this is trying to be as relatively close to what I've
Yeah, you see, he's picking up the sparks.
been practicing on, which
Overcharges
has
or what they're
been
called.
the tier level 100 Nightmare Dungeons. And I think there's a few things that I wanted to call out as well. On the actual sigil itself, I think one difference here is that I'm not aware of what afflictions I'm going to encounter in this battle. So I think capping things or getting as close to as capped I can, or things like my armor.
So, okay, one of the first things to notice here that's already super dodgy is that one, Abattoir of Zir is just a complete reskin from Rifts from Diablo 3. As you can see, this is the exact same mechanic, and that's stupid, that's bad. Again, anything that's Diablo 3 that gets put into Diablo 4 is just one step closer to the majority of the player base quitting and never playing the game again because it just has no value. Second of all, notice the fact that he's playing a ball-ending source. Maybe his build is old, maybe his build is not perfect, maybe he's missing a couple of key things, probably, it looks like. But, despite all of that, he's playing ball lightning, which is still a huge chunk of DPS. And look at these things.
My magic resist,
Yeah.
my damage.
They're taking decent damage, but they're
All
only
those.
taking decent damage
Just really trying to-
if he's fully charged up.
Be ready and prepared for any surprises.
Yeah, I know.
So essentially the thing here is these things are damage sponges. This looks like the worst version of Diablo 3 at its finest.
Which is because you've played through Abattoir a little bit, you've built a little bit more survival on your Sork here, as opposed to completely.
He can't even look at the minimap here.
The
He's
last
running in the
cannon.
wrong
He's
direction.
a little bit more prepared than I think some other people would be. But I know with us showcasing here a level 1 Abattoir, kind of at least showcases a little bit. How would you guys compare this to a Nightmare Dungeon in terms of tier difficulty, or
This is, by the way, just difficulty
would
one.
it be similar to a Nightmare Dungeon in terms of tier with a level 1?
One, and he's playing the second strongest build currently in the game. After obviously Barbarian Hammer of Ancients overpowered build.
Yeah, the level 1 Abattoir of Zir is kind of close to what like a level 104 might be. That's kind of where things start, and then things step up from there. Now, you'll see here right off the bat, there's some big differences, right? On the right-hand side, you see that there's a bar that's being filled. Abattoir of Zir runs are really races against time. So Rich here is really focused
Let's skip ahead.
fixes of their own. You're going to have to go ahead and clear through.
Now look at
Timer is
that.
still ticking, but Rich has got a really good, healthy lead on the timer right now. So
Yeah. So the problem starts here. Diablo 4 has a huge amount of just random, dumb, stupid shit that your enemies are enchanted with. They can have some kind of cold, scare, explosions, this and that. So when the enemy is such an absolute damage sponge, and you can't instantaneously one-shot it, and you get multiple groups of enemies here, and they constantly cast CCs, that's not going to be a fun experience. This is really, really bad. This already reminds me of Diablo 3, when people go into a dungeon and reset it 15 times to find a good layout so they can actually finish it, and, stuff like that. where they just, ignore certain, skip certain enemies because they're just not worth it and whatnot. This completely reminds me currently of that.
I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a question of whether or not you get spiked by something you didn't expect.
Yeah, look at this. Get 3 of the wrong mobs. They're such damage sponges that you can't even damage them properly, and they just have, for example, 2 cold enchantments on them, and congratulations, you're permanently CC'd of 1 mistake, and that's not gonna be fun. That's gonna be the worst gameplay ever.
But with the amount of barrier you should be able to pack with your sword at this point, I don't think that should be a problem.
I don't
This
know.
is a unfavorable spawn.
Yeah, I don't
location.
like that. I don't like this
Again, this is just Zir level 1.
spot. One.
You're in some tight corners
I think
here.
in every single practice this has happened, but what I'm feeling lucky about is that I don't have a suppressor, which is definitely a
There you
nightmare
go.
for me.
Okay,
when
he
I'm
actually
lightning.
got it. Good.
But yes, I'll pass it back over to you because there's actually some.
Yeah,
pretty
but there's a lot of problems with this, obviously. There's a lot of problems. There's so many red
good
flags.
stuff to call out over here.
Yeah, so upon finishing your first run through the Abattoir of Zir, you're going to earn the special glyph associated with the seasonal event, which is the Tears of Blood glyph that you can see here. Now, Rich has already spent some XP on this, upgrading it before, but this is an extraordinarily powerful multiplicative bonus
Yep.
glyph you get to kind of slot in. This
And the thing about this is a multiplicative bonus, right? So the problem with this is maybe this outscales the Zir thing, and this just makes all the content too easy because the Tears of Blood glyph is just too overpowered. We also don't know that part. So this content is gonna be either too stupid and easy or too stupid and hard because there's not enough scaling. So it's gonna be one of the two, and this is crazy.
This has got 200 levels associated with it for you to upgrade through over the course of time. It starts out at the size of a tier 15 normal glyph, normal rare glyph. So it is extremely strong right off the bat. So you're gonna be able to use.
So 200 levels. That is 250 bonus to all rare nodes within range. That means that's multiplicative, by the way. Yeah, that's insane. For every 5 core stats put within range, you gain increased damage. So that's also 200 levels. How much that is? 10, 1, okay, 20. So it's 22% more damage just based from this, which is insane. And 250 based from this, which is insane. So I think this is going to just outscale and completely make it so that you just look at enemies and they die. It's going to be completely busted.
Use this to kind of help you get through some of the more difficult tiers as you go deeper and deeper into the experience. And there's one other really neat thing about this as well. So this experience, the Tears of Blood glyph itself has like a lot of Paragon glyph XP that you need in order to upgrade it as you continue to like go on through the experience. And one of the things we wanted to do was make sure that if you're at this stage, if you want to experiment with other glyphs, you can still you get giant amounts of XP from finishing Abattoir of Zir level.
1,000.
You're at 1,000.
Players
From tier
right
one.
there saw 1,000
Yeah,
XP.
from
Tier,
so, yeah.
from tier 1 you get 1,000. So if you want to use this as an opportunity to kind of like rank up some of those other glyphs you've got because you want to play with other things for other builds and other things.
And by the way, this is essentially, you're devaluating content by doing this. So if you can use the abattoir to level up other glyphs, why would you ever even waste time on anything but just pushing, getting to Zir, and then using that experience to level up your other glyphs? It makes no sense to not do it, okay? And this is, again, what Diablo and Blizzard are really good at, is cannibalizing their own content. You know, if you're someone who wants to play even remotely efficiently, you're gonna look up the best build and completely ignore all the game until Abattoir of Zir. Or most casual players, by the way, already are doing this. They're ignoring specific material wastage and upgrading and doing certain things until they're in World Tier 3. Or it was, 4, excuse me, 4, I already forgot what's the maximum of World 3. Doesn't matter, honestly, right? But yeah, World Tier 4. People are not going to use the blood thingies to summon the stuff. People are not going to use keys until they're in World Tier 4, and they're not going to use any special resources. Why? Because World Tiers exist. Again, Diablo is absolutely a mastercraft at just destroying the already created game, and devaluing all of your achievements because of dumb decision making like World Tiers that completely ruin the experience for a lot of people.
Here's an opportunity to kind of like go in quickly, like level up.
And now Abattoir of Zir is essentially just gonna ruin, well, the glyph leveling thing. Because why would you ever want to run dungeons to level up your glyphs? No, because if you want to level up your glyphs because that makes you feel good in the game, you're gonna play a strong build and you're gonna push the dungeon tier as high as possible. And that means that you're gonna go Abattoir of Zir instantaneously because that's the maximum experience. There you go. And that's lame. That's stupid. I don't like it.
Those other glyphs that you have, in addition to like, not taking too much time away from your Tears of the Blood if you're trying to like keep pace with that. But we think that's like an extra fun little bit. But yeah, Tears of the Blood glyph, super powerful for players to be able to engage with. Again, it's only here for the season, and it'll be retired at the end of that season.
Yeah, and like we just saw Rich, of course, churn through a level 1.
Oh, let's see this now.
Any bat that kind of like clips you, which is basically
yeah. Look at this.
Just, completely ice you.
Look at this.
Unless you're vulnerable.
Dude, again, this is the second strongest build in the game, and it ramped up
At that point,
and it's taking that long for this thing to die.
it just makes it a less
It's crazy.
fun experience overall. So we wanted to make
It's crazy.
sure it was much more about like, can you beat that timer? Can you survive the bosses at the end? Not as much about like damage gets so high over the course of time that there's no opportunity for different classes to really be able to perform, right?
Yeah.
By the way, the Diablo 3 thing like this is not technically that bad in my opinion if you make the runs shorter. If one run is pretty short, I'm kind of okay with that, I guess. But again, the less I see that I can recognize from Diablo 3, the happier I am.
And the Tears of Blood glyph really is going to increase your damage output.
Yes.
All right, so leveling that up. is
Did
gonna
you actually
really-
have your Tears for Blood glyph equipped?
Oh, is it equipped?
So I did not, and I think one of the things that I wanted
Well
to do, I mean, for me, I think as I've been going in and testing it, like I think it's actually been a pretty cool experience to see like how it's been with and without. I think just
Jeez,
exploring
look
a little
at
bit
this.
more into
That's
it as
so
well.
bad.
Like while my
Yeah, look at this.
Paragon
It's
board
snakes.
is optimized for what I
You're just gonna give up.
have here, it's definitely opening up a lot more.
Yeah,
I'll
he's
hold on
dead.
a second. Can you-
Also, you didn't replenish your
No, he
potions
didn't.
before you
I
went
tried
in
to
here.
warn him.
So
It's about this is for the stream.
mistakes were made.
This is for this-
This is for the stream.
mistakes
Oh, I
were
see. You're
This
trying
is
to
for
give
the
yourself.
stream.
Honestly, by the way, Shaco, when you're talking about damage sponginess of this absolute ferocity, Shaco is not even that good, by the way. It's probably actually going to be Andes that people use for the life steal, or the blood power that steals 2.3% of damage dealt, because that's going to be enough to top you off forever. That's kind of crazy, right? But in any case, I mean, it's like, what are you going to do?
Disadvantage
Right?
for clicks, I say.
Hey,
This
we
is for the
got,
stream.
we got more max potions.
Sad.
That's true.
So
you did get that.
Rich did not do himself a few favors here. One, he did not replenish his potions, and then two, he did not equip a Tears for Blood glyph.
Yeah,
Uh,
you are
because-
falling behind that timer pretty
Yeah,
quickly at this
because
point.
he wanted to be a show off
Yes.
and is not
Yeah.
showing off.
Well, it's interesting to see how valuable, you were talking about this earlier, how valuable the vampiric powers are in this.
You see why Diablo, well, not why Blizzard in general will never actually make a good game? Because this is what they do. This is how they do difficulty. You know what Abattoir of Zir is? It's World Tier 5. That's it. It's World Tier 5. But instead of new items dropping, you just get a glyph of Zir, and then you need to level it up a little bit, so, that happens. This is how Blizzard does difficulty levels. There's no such thing as difficulty level in a Blizzard game. There's only, this is the base, let's say item level 100. Then at some point you unlock item level 200 and all of the world levels up, and now this is where you are, this is where the world is. And now you need to kill 5 monsters to get basic white gear of that world level, and now you're again at the same level. it's not even a difficulty level increase. It's nothing. It's just more damage, more HP, and you need to catch up to it. I hate Blizzard so much. They're literally not trying to make any kind of actual meaningful hardness to anything. They're just increasing the HP and damage, and the more you do that, the more absurd it gets. Because you can't, it's not gonna feel like an increase at all if you don't increase it by magnitudes. And when you're increasing it by magnitudes, you end up from 1 damage to 10 damage to 100 damage to 10,000 damage to 10 million damage to literal hundreds of billions of damage. And that's how it goes for Blizzard. So I'm afraid that this is gonna happen and it's completely just gonna break the experience. I don't know. I don't like this. I don't like this, but you know, it is what it is. I mean, World Tier 5 will fix it, right? World Tier 5 is just gonna ruin the game even more. It's probably happening at some point, huh? Next expansion? Well, the next expansion is a long times away, so, well, maybe it's not happening. Who knows? But in any case, I have issues with this. I don't like it. I don't like the general direction that this is taking. Anyway, this was Sid saying thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.